Hey everyone, this is One Man Zerg with the UEN.com casting the SC2GG.com weekly North American tournament game, week number 7, game number 2. This is between Frosty, the teal Zerg in the upper left, and Monk, the blue Protoss, in the top middle. And game 1 was a pretty intense game between Monk and Frosty. Monk with some mid-game push out with a nice balanced Protoss army, able to harass Frosty's main and then go to his expansion, take out his expansion after a good deal of back and forth, and expand on his own. Looked like he was in a pretty good position, but then the Zerg ended up expanding back to his expansion and expanding to the gold, getting a nice macro advantage, and then not really backdooring, but kind of backdooring the Protoss player, able to take out his expansion, while the Protoss player took out one of the Zerg's 2 expansions, leaving him in a really crippled economic position. So Frosty able to capitalize on that economic advantage and just wear down the Protoss army, and then finish him off when the Protoss army tried to do one kind of last push to see if he could come out ahead in the game, but he was dominated by the Zerg. So great game, and went to Frosty. So if Frosty wins this game, it is good game for week number 7, and Frosty will be the winner. If Monk wins this game, we are going to a game number 3 between the players, where winner takes all. Frosty with a little harass here, and he is crushed between the surrounding probes. It's always a little tricky to pull that off, but Monk did a good job. It's kind of frustrating. Oh, Frosty here with an early expand. What is that, a 12-13 expand by him? And then we do see that Monk sees it, so I'm really curious to see how Monk's going to react. I would think he would drop another gateway right now and just get that really early pressure out. And here goes Frosty with a spawning pool going down on 13 right after this really fast expand. And with this close positioning, I mean, I wouldn't do that kind of fast expand. That's a risky strategy. Here we go. It's the cybernetic score. I'm very shocked that he's going with the cybernetic score. I would really expect a second gateway, save up some chronos, double chrono some zealots out, and just march over here and get that early advantage on that Zerg player before he can do much. And we'll see that the Zerg player is lacking in the harvester count, but not by a whole bunch. So even with that early expand, he's not that far behind. And then let's go with the production tab right now. He isn't building any more drones right now, though. He looks like he's saving up for something. What are you saving up for, Frosty? You have 300 crystals, and you're not doing anything. Getting a couple Zerglings there. Still doesn't have a queen. Is he going to build a queen? Oh, yeah. There goes the queen. It's starting. It's at the expo. So he's getting that for a defensive position. And then, what did he chrono? Oh, he's getting some warp gates right now. Really interesting build by Monk. I do not understand what he's doing by chronoing warp gates when he's only got one gateway and his opponent's going with a fast expand. I think Frosty's probably going to be able to get the units up he needs to defend this. And yeah, Frosty's looking for a proxy in his base right now. Are you trying to trick me? That's what he's thinking. That's exactly what he's thinking. I know everyone knows I'm a mind reader with that. Anyways, Monk coming in here with some units, but that's just going to be thwarted by this amount of Zerglings. Staying on the creep, smart move, getting that queen support. Really, Monk's not in a good position right now to be doing this. Stalker's fast enough that it can get away, bringing in some more units. But yeah, he's just low on the production facility. One gateway is not going to cut it to put that kind of early pressure on the Zerg player. Surprised he's not getting any spine crawlers right now. He's got enough minerals to do it. He is getting more Zerglings though, and he is getting that speed upgrade. So as soon as that finishes, there's a spine crawler. He will not be worried at all about defending this base. And we could see, I think he's in an income advantage. Right about there on the cusp of an income advantage with those 2 bases up. So this is still a very critical point in the game for the Zerg player to try and balance that. I need to get more troops, but if I get more troops, I can't get more drones. What am I going to do? And we can see he start ticking up in the economy right now with production of some drones, because he really needs to get that in the game to get the advantage of this expansion. And the Protoss player going with the not too early expand, but definitely getting his expansion down too, because he knows he's going to have to compete economically with the Zerg player. Getting 2 gates, getting 3 gates, getting 4 gates going on. So he does have the Korean 4-gate type strategy going on, and I think let's see, yeah, still relatively even in terms of economy. But yeah, Frosty is just turning up that dial on the economy, and he's going to be able to use that queen, both those queens, to really get a lot of production. Let's check that out. Yeah, just a ton more drones coming out, quickly jumping in the lead on this harvester count. Remember, he was at like 24 to 26. Now he's at 34 to 28. And that's kind of the flexibility that Zerg offers players. You know, I can build all these units, but then if I want to switch over, boom, I'm just gonna double larva my hatcheries, get like 10 drones a minute, and then I'm all of a sudden really high in the count. And we can see Frosty does know that Monk is going with the expansion, and Monk, you know, obviously knows what's going on there. Doesn't check these other bases. I wouldn't be too worried because he knows Frosty has to get those up and going. But what is Frosty going to go for? He's teching up to hatchery again. I wonder if he's going to go with another one of his Hydra builds like last game. Hydra into Roach. It's seems a little bit backwards, but it's interesting because it gets to play off the tech of the opponent. You know, if I get Hydras, he's not going to get Stalkers. He's not going to get too many Stalkers. He's going to go with more Zealots, and then if he gets more Zealots, I'm going to go Roaches because Roaches are going to counter his Zealots, and good game, son. So I love to see how those tech balances play off each other. And Frosty sees, I think, that hey, he's coming over with a lot of units. That's a pretty good use of those Zerglings, though, to burn out a lot of the energy on those sentries. Ooh, and is he going to be capped? No, he's still got room, and he's buying, most importantly, a little bit of time for that. And let's see this production, ramping that up. There come the 20 Zerglings. Boom, they're popping out, and is it going to be enough time? I always hate this point in the battle where you get all these, you get these spine crawlers coming down, but you're like, oh crap, I need to buy time for the spine crawlers to actually go down. This little wall off kind of working in the favor of the Zerg player there for a minute, and getting all these Zerglings out. There we go, 10 more Zerglings pop in. He's got double queen, double hatch going. He is going to be able to contend with his Protoss army. Gets these layers of spine crawlers going on. And that's what you got to do as a Zerg player. You just got to mass and go crazy. Like, I'm just going to drop these spine crawlers. I'm going to build a million Zerglings. I'm going to drop more spine crawlers. And then just keep pushing back on the opponent. Ooh, a poorly timed creep tumor expansion. But a lot of times, the Zerg players like to do that. They see the opponent retreating. Okay, I'm going to drop a creep tumor right here. I like to drop it in the middle of the battle, because then it's not going to get fired on if the battle is going to last, you know, more than the 10 seconds it takes to build it. So that's kind of interesting. And Frosty dropping the expansion over here. You can see Frosty's got a great macro game. A lot of players don't know when to drop that third base or second expansion, if you will. But, you know, drop it on a remote part of the map. Keep your opponent pretty busy. And he knows, you know, Monk's going with that same strategy as last game, which is just a strong mid-game push with this balanced Protoss army that he has. You can see he's definitely got the army advantage in terms of funds. But when you get to Frosty's base, he's got queens and he's got spine crawlers, and that's really going to thwart a lot of your efforts. And look at that, he's even got a second queen in here just to say what's up, get that extra, you know, creep tumors in. I don't think he's actually doing that right now. Oh, he's got plenty of energy to drop a couple more over here. And then Monk, you know, getting back in there. But you can see Monk's just at a deficiency in terms of harvesters. He just needs to get more on this base, and it looks like he's not really producing them. And then Frosty's, Monk does see this going on over here, but I think he knows I'm not in a position, I'm not maneuverable enough to go and knock this base out. And then Frosty quickly drops those spine crawlers to say, hey, you want to bring something over here? That's alright, I'll take it down. And look at this, going straight to Roaches actually. But it is vital to get the lair when you get Roaches, because Roaches without speed can just get owned by Stalkers. And even Zealots with speed are decently effective against Roaches without speed, but Roaches with speed and just adds a lot more dynamics to the Zerg army. And then that Zergling plus Roach balance works so much better when you have the Roaches with speed. And if they're on creep, they are just freaking fast. So, ooh, we've got a little joint movement going on right here. I don't know if Frosty saw that. I don't think he did. But Frosty doing a good job with holding these Zelnaga towers. It's always easy when it's only 25 crystal to hold the tower. Coming in with those mid-game Colossus. This is a strong push by Monk. I want to see if he's going to go for this Expo. He's going to play off this ledge. I would bring these Colossus right up here and try and actually ledge downward. But we'll see what he's going to do. Yeah, he is doing exactly that. It's great positioning that the Colossus provide you, you know, with that. Does he have the extended thermal lances? No, not quite yet. And yeah, as a smart Protoss player would, you should wait to attack until you get these extended thermal lances if you're that close. If you're just starting to research them, it takes a while, so you might want to wait. But if they're almost there, just wait, get that huge range 9, and then just bear down, because these spine crawlers, you can see range 7, you're going to be able to take them out with your Colossus without getting counterattacked, and you're going to force the Zerg army to take the positioning that you want to give them. So yeah, the short-range Zerg army really not going to be able to effectively deal with that. And you can see the Corruptors are coming out though. So that's an interesting timing issue with this attack. Is that Monk knows that I have an advantage right now, but he doesn't know that quickly that advantage isn't going to be there when Frosty gets his Corruptors out. So if Frosty can just buy a little bit of time, which he can with that economy, pull out these Corruptors, then Monk loses that super threatening ability to outrange and push with those Colossus, because Corruptors are super durable. Look at that, 200 hit points, 2 armor, and a decent move speed and a range of 6. They're really able to take a lot of blows from these Stalkers, because the Stalkers are doing, 14 damage but minus the 2 armor. It's really not that much damage. Getting in some nice force fields here, pushing out. But Frosty knows his game plan. I'm going to take out those Colossus because I can deal with this amount of units if they get to my base. Like, yeah, I'm getting kind of owned with these force fields, but he's not going to be able to make a strong push with just Stalkers and Sentries. And once I get on creep and get the right positioning, that's going to be fine. I'll just push out on these. These Roaches with speed can catch up to any of those units, so he's just going to wear them out of mana. Let's see what the mana is on those. You can see they're almost out of mana. He's been dropping a lot of force fields, very good force fields, but dropping a lot of them. And then the Protoss player expanding over here, but look at this. Frosty is getting a 4th base up right now. Frosty has all of his bases working. He has a great income, so he's got the definite income advantage right now, definite harvester advantage, and he's got the Corruptors to handle those Colossus of his Protoss opponent. Look at this army size, it's very equal. The Zerg player actually has a lot more units though, but in terms of cost, it's relatively equal. And this is a hard combo. You can see these Colossus aren't actually doing anything because they're trying to avoid these Corruptors, which they can't do. And the